Yo guys, what is going on? I hope you're doing well and welcome to this new video of mine. Now you guys probably know from the title below that today I'm going to be giving you some tips, some major tips on how you can understand a language, how you can speak a language fluently. Now as always guys, I'm going to be giving you 3 major tips that I think is really going to be beneficial and it's going to help you guys, and these are tips that I've been using myself to understand languages throughout my years, rather than me giving you like 100 different tips that can possibly confuse you or even demotivate you. So I thought I'm going to keep it nice, short and brief and give you these 3 major tips. Now before I start this video guys, I want to give you a quick introduction of the kind of languages that I speak and the kind of languages that I understand. Now in terms of the languages that I speak 4 languages fluently and I understand 6 languages fluently. Now the first language that I can speak fluently is Bengali, and that's because I'm Bengali, my parents are Bengali, they speak fluent Bengali and I speak Bengali with them all the time and with my relatives back home. And I also learned how to write and read in Bengali, which is kind of interesting, and I spent some time when I was a kid writing and reading and speaking and all of that, which is why I'm quite fluent at Bengali. Actually my Bengali I think is quite good, and I speak the main Bengali, which is like the formal Bengali, and then there are different dialects out there, like for example Sylheti, which I can't speak fluently but understand. So I do speak fluent Bengali and I understand and speak fluent Sylheti as well, which is kind of like a dialect from the Bengali language. The second language that I speak fluently is Italian. Many of you guys probably know this. I was actually born in Rome, I was born in Italy, and I lived there for pretty much 10 years of my life. And then when I was 10, that's when I came to this country here in the UK, in London, which is when I became fluent in English. So that's basically Italian, Bengali and English done. I also speak Italian at home with my family. They all speak it fluently, alhamdulillah. So that way I can like practice it here and there, and that way I don't really forget it. Also when you go out there in the gym or many different places, and some of my friends also speak Italian, so that way I can always make sure that I'm not losing this language, this fluency that I have in Italian. Now for my 4th language, I also speak very good Spanish. I did Spanish for like around 6 years when I was a kid. I also did my GCSEs until I got a grade 9 and I basically got pretty much full marks. So GCSE Spanish, I did that. I also speak to Spanish people here and there a little bit. It's probably been like 2 actual years since I studied Spanish. So my Spanish is going down a little bit, but all I need to do probably is just speak to some Spanish people for probably less than a month for me to go back to that fluency level that I had before. Also Spanish and Italian are a little bit similar, so a lot of the vocab out there kind of link with each other. So when you can practice one of the language, then you're more likely to not forget the other language, if you know what I mean. Now guys, these are the 4 languages that I speak fluently, but I do understand 6 languages fluently. I don't speak them, but I do understand 6. Now the remaining 2 are Hindi and Urdu. Now in Hindi and Urdu are very similar. They're almost like the same language, but the differences, they do have differences within the language and also within where the language came from, and also they have very different writing styles as well. But since I do understand fluent Hindi due to the fact that my parents speak fluent Hindi, that really helps me out to also understand fluent Urdu, and they're very similar. So that way if I do understand Hindi, it will really help me to understand Urdu. So these are the 6 languages that I basically understand pretty much fluently, I guess. Now maybe later on in my life I can go and try and speak fluent Hindi and Urdu. When it comes to the vocab, I understand it, but the problem is when it comes to formulating sentences, I find it a little bit hard. But guys, in terms of the tips that I'm going to be giving you, remember that I am currently an Arabic student, so I am learning Arabic, and there are 3 tips, as I said, that I've been using to learn my Arabic. And now that I'll give you all of the introduction, I'm going to go straight to the tips. Now guys, the first tip that I'm going to be giving you is to have a time every single day allocated for you to study the language that you're trying to learn. Now it could be that you're very busy and you don't have like 15 to 20 minute slots throughout your day, so some people might choose to do it weekly. For example, do on a Saturday or on a Sunday, do 2 to 3 hours of Arabic or whatever language out there you want to learn. The thing with me is that I would rather do 15 to 20 minutes throughout every single day, throughout the entire week, or 5 times a week, than to do something like 2 to 3 hours in one exact day. The reason why I would say this, and again this is quite subjective, is because sometimes it's easier to find 15 to 20 minute slots than finding like 3 to 4 or even longer than that, like 5 hour slots throughout the week. So for example, if I'm on the train or on the bus, or I'm like traveling, going to school or something, I can like get my app out, Duolingo, or in this case for Arabic I've got Arabiya Bayna Yaday, or my book, and do some little bit of revision, read some words, understand some vocab, memorize some vocab, rather than actually finding like a 3 to 4 hours every single week on a Saturday or on a Sunday and sit down with a pen and a paper and do it. The problem with that, I would say, is that sometimes you might lose motivation. Now, that is great if you can do 3 to 4 hours in a week in one go. That would be amazing. But the most important thing is that you're consistent and that you're motivated, because a lot of the problems that happen when people try to learn a language is that they start it and then they end up pretty much giving up in like a few weeks or like a month time, simply because perhaps the toll is too much, or because they're not being consistent enough and they're doing like very hard slots, like 3 to 4 hour slots, which is quite strenuous on the body. And if you want to really learn a language and you really want to put the effort in, then I think the 15 to 20 minute slot plus the 3 hour or 4 hour slot that you do once a week will really help you, because with the 3 to 4 hours you can do all of the grammar, all of the heavy stuff from a language, and then the 15 to 20 minute slots you can do the little recapping and you can do all of the vocab memorization, and that would literally be, I think, it's like the optimal way to understand a language and to become fluent at it. Now guys, for tip number 2, what I'm going to be telling you is that try to find a partner or someone out there who's going to be there to help you out. This partner can be, it's better if the partner is a person who already understands the language fluently or speaks the language better than you, or at least if you can't find that, find someone who's willing to learn the language with you. The reason being is because when you have someone with you to help you out, they're more likely to understand the mistakes that you're going to make. Someone who knows the Spanish, they can tell you, hey, this pronunciation that you're doing is wrong, or they can help you out with many different things. Another reason is because motivation is a big key for these things. When you go into a language and you have no one to learn the language with you and you feel like you're all by yourself, sometimes you can be demotivated and you cannot be consistent. So having a partner will help you with that demotivation, to be motivated more, and also that way you also have a little bit of a competition, if you know what I mean. And when you have a competition, you're more likely to do good, simply because you're just trying to be a better version of yourself and you're competing with your friend or that person that's also trying to learn the language with. Now guys, the last tip that I'm going to be giving you is that you practice your speaking, your listening, your reading and your writing. Now guys, check the links down in the description below, because this video is meant to be more like an introductory video and it's not meant to go fully in depth. It's like meant to be more like a brief video, I guess. So yeah guys, check the links in the description below. They're really going to help you out. And now I'm going to break down each one of these sections and quickly how you can use these sections and improve and understand and become fluent in the language. Now guys, when it comes to speaking, I told you, just like tip number 2 is find a person that you can practice with. More important is to find a person that actually knows the language. That way they can tell you if your pronunciation is wrong, and that way they can put you onto the spot and you're more likely to understand how a real dialogue, real conversation goes on with a person who is fluent at that language or who is a native speaker. Now for reading guys, you can read those little texts that you can find, like introductory level, beginners level books. You can buy those little books and then do all of your vocab checklist and also read a little bit so you can understand more of the language and make sure that the vocab is on point. Now for listening guys, I would say it's very good if you go and watch a few videos on YouTube from people who speak that language. For example, if you want to learn Spanish, go and watch some Spanish podcasts or some Spanish introductory videos, and also make sure you're always listening to the different pronunciations from the native speakers, so that way your pronunciation is increasing, and also by listening you're making sure that your memory is getting better and better and you're becoming more used to translating those words that you hear in your own language. Now guys, the last bit is writing, and when it comes to writing, I would say it's quite subjective depending on the language. For example, when it comes to Arabic, I actually learned how to read and write Arabic before I could actually speak it. As I said, I'm not fluent in the Arabic language, but I can actually read and write quite well. So if you can write the language, for example, if it's like in English format, for example Spanish, you don't need to learn how to write the language, because it's not different. It's not like Hindi, Urdu, or like a different language like Arabic where the writing is completely different. So what you should do in that case is writing helps you so much to memorize things. That's the way I see it. So make sure you practice your writing a lot whenever you're free, whenever you do your, remember when you do your long 3-hour slots, you can sit down and do all of your little writing bits. So yeah guys, that's basically the 3 main tips I'm going to be giving you guys. As I said, it's about how much effort you put in and how consistent you are. So yeah guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully these tips will benefit you. They really helped me out when it came to my Spanish, and hopefully they're going to be really helping me out with this Arabic. I've been practicing a lot, kind of experimenting to see which methods work really. So I'm kind of new into this really. But yeah guys, I hope you enjoyed. Hopefully this video became beneficial for you guys. Hopefully you can learn the language that you're trying to learn. So yeah guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Check the links in the description below. I'm going to be putting tons of resources inshallah for you guys to read, have a look at. So yeah guys, again, like, comment and subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you enjoyed the video, perhaps share it out. So yeah guys, I'll see you in my next video. Take care and peace out.